Hi, I'm Tug Morkel. What I'm about to read you is from Tug's Trek again, um, relating to the overlap of moral injury and post traumatic stress disorder. Um, when you write the book, you perceive it to be one thing. When you read it 5 years later, you get um, there's another angle to it. I hope you enjoy. Um, we get to a time where I'm running the farm fairly successfully in Zimbabwe, and I rehired a guy that worked very well for my father, um, but he was captured by the Rhodesian forces for aiding and abetting the enemy. But I needed a right hand man to get the labour, much of the labour on our sides. And he brought with him 50 hard-working labourers from the Midlands province who had collectively been subjected to the pre-election violence in the late 1994 era. The reign of terror came mainly from the hands of the 5th Brigade and ZANU-PF youth brigades who rampaged the territories in which the Matabele people lived. Zimbabwe had its second general election in July 1985, which was won convincingly by Mugabe. But the rival and Como party retained all 15 seats in Matabele land. I remember the day when I cast my vote in favour of Ian Smith, when his newly named Conservative Alliance of Zimbabwe party won all the seats reserved for whites. Mugabe wasn't very happy. He sacked his white agricultural minister and was clearly irritated by what he perceived as a resurgence of white conservatism. Dennis Norman was an extremely successful Minister of Agriculture, and the economy, in large part to the agricultural sector, had performed well. Firing Dennis Norman was Mugabe's tacit way of telling the whites he didn't need them. But it was also the birthplace of the slide towards anarchy and economic suicide. The reason most whites did not vote for Mugabe was their refusal to be complicit in taking the country down the path of his ever more obvious Marxist agenda. His increasingly reprehensible rhetoric scared me, and the alarm bells should have been ringing loud and clear, but my mind was still firmly entrenched in the traditional conservative sentiments of the Rhodesian Front, and instead of taking notice and speaking out, I simply joined in the barroom criticism of our leader and his government of lackeys. Perhaps out of naivety, perhaps out of a strong overdose of excessive testosterone, I continued to work and work and work. The mutually beneficial alliance between the commercial farming community and the state continued, although it was starting to show signs of strain. Most of the cabinet had acquired farms of their own through misappropriation of funds provided by the British government. And in terms of the Lancaster House Agreement, land could be acquired on a willing buyer, willing seller basis for distribution to rural communities, and the British government would pick up the tab. Handing out acquired land to political elite instead cemented allegiance to Mugabe, and they were all singing off his hymn sheet. The fact that few, if any of the recipients knew the first thing about farming was immaterial. Land ownerships was prestige, and none of the former guerrilla leaders were going to let something silly like ethics get in the way of accepting their handout. Now, you may wonder why I'm reading that excerpt from my book, but what's happening here is that these little comments, rhetoric, the pumping of the fist by Mugabe is getting under your skin. And we're trying to wave it off because we want it to go away. But it wasn't going away. Stay tuned to Tug Morkel Dreams, and I'll keep reading from my book. Cheers for now.